Welcome back to the Crochet Crowdhouse with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. This is video number 2 of this particular afghan. Video number 1 we covered on how to do the panels because the designer is asking us to sew the panels together and then form it with the border. Today we're going to totally skip the sewing. I'm going to show you how to make this as a one-piece unit going all the way across, even taking into account that there's a color difference between the panels. If you would like to make it one color, you can certainly do that. Just make sure that you keep your counts properly in line in order to do that. I think by using this separate colors it'll be easier for you to be able to maintain this pattern. Again, your creativity, and that's completely up to you. So let's dive a little harder into this. So in a little bit in this tutorial I'm going to talk about changing the size of this particular project. So we have total 7 panels. Do you need 7? You can go to 8, you can go 9, 10, 11, etc. So what you can just do is that you're gonna be able to keep in count because the stitch counts that I'm gonna provide to you is gonna keep this in count. Here's the deal. Each one of these panels should be a separate color if you are wanting to maintain the color difference. If you want just one color, just don't even worry about it at all. Just get the one color and just, you know, zoom across. So what I would recommend to you is that each one of these panels here needs a separate ball of yarn. So you need a total of 7 because there's 7 panels. So if you want the panels to match each other, you're going to need a separate ball of yarn for each one of the panels that you have. So in this case I'm going to go with the light gray, which will be my braids, and then a little bit of a darker gray then for the crossing over. Again, you can decide what is going to work for you. Let's talk a little bit about how this is gonna come together because I have a little worksheet that you can download as well. So here's my little trusty worksheet that you can download, and what I figured out is that there are a number of stitches that are left over after the foundation row has been complete. For example, in panel B it says in the instructions to chain 21 and then just create your foundation row, which leaves you 19 stitches. So we don't want to have each one of these panels with the original chain counts that is saying in the pattern, because then you'll end up with way too many. So what I want you to concentrate on is the number of stitches that were left over. So in my case I figured it out for you. So there's 19 in panel B, and in panel A there's 23. So what we have here is that panel B is on the outside and panel A is the big one here. So it's what I have is all 7 that are worked out. You want to take this number here and then just add it together and then add 1 at the end, and that will give you the starting counts to keep all of this together. So what color are you gonna use? That's really the big one here. I've got some tips for you on that as well. So as you start this particular project, it is so much harder if you do a chain of a certain color and then the first time that you're going across is that you're gonna switch it to all the different balls that we have. What I'm recommending to you is that the first border around this entire thing, decide that color right here and right now. I'm going to use it the same color as the outside and it will make sense. So whatever color you decide to use, try to get it so that it's the first panel on either side in order to get it to work, and it'll make sense when we get to this further on in the tutorial. So decide that color, because what we're going to do is chain the number of counts that we need, and then what we're going to do is go across with a single crochet just with that same color, and then we're gonna start this cable work. That's when we're gonna start changing our balls then to each one. It's a lot easier to have a row that's already established than it is to be able to change these colors on an actual physical chain, and the stitches will be nice and tight versus being really kind of loosey-goosey and all over the place and being your nemesis as you're going along. So you have to decide your border color first. So in the last video what we did is that we did the 2 different panels that are here, and this one here has a 12 row repeat. This one has 4. So 12 is divisible by 4, isn't it? So it will take 3 of these repeats to equal 1 of these, which makes it even really quite makes a lot of sense. Also that there's double crochets that are in each row just on both sides, so therefore they can meld together without any issues. And instead of being separate here, what we would do is just change our color here. We're not going to fasten anything off. We're gonna use like a bobbin kind of effect, where this will be a separate ball of yarn and this is a separate, and we change it over at the same time, keeping them together, and then when we come back across we just switch our yarns back when we're crossing back over a particular panel. So it's all really nice to see it like this, but what we have for you, and it's downloadable on our website as well if you see the more information, I have the diagrams available for you, and I want to talk to you about this because if you can understand this, I'd probably print them out if I were you. It'll make it a lot easier, and what we're going to do is put them together, so to speak. So here is panel B and panel A. So panel A is the big lattice work, and panel B here is the cable. And all we're going to do, instead of keeping it separate like this, what we're going to do is meld them together. So let me just fold this. I didn't want to do it really live on camera with you, but I will do it anyway. And what I'm going to do is that we are going to just continue along as if it's one piece unit. So what we have here is that there's 19 stitches that make up this one here, and there's 23 stitches that make up this one. So after this is complete, what do you think is gonna be? You're gonna start again over here and just keep it going, and just keep going back and forth using the same concept. The trick is that you want to watch for when you're doing this is that you want to maintain these patterns individually with their separate balls of yarn as you're going across. So you're not gonna worry about these chains in between. You're just gonna simply just keep scanning, going back and across all the way, and the only time you're gonna chain is that when you're going up a row and when you turn your work. So what I'm gonna do here for you on camera is that I'm going to do panel B, A, and B. I'm only gonna do 3, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna figure that out for my stitch counts. So I'm back on the worksheet, and what I want to do is that I want to figure out how many chains I'm gonna start. So if you want to do it as is, it's already ready for you here. It gives you the number of 146. If you would like to change the size, so I want to do a panel B, A, and B only. So I'm just gonna subtract out the rest of them, and I'm gonna add those together, and that'll give me the number of 61 chains. Once I have that number, I'm gonna add one more so that I can keep in balance with this pattern, and so my total starting count will be 62. So that's how I'm gonna do, and then what we're going to do is we're gonna go all the way across just with the same color, and then on the foundation row, that's when we're gonna start changing out our colors. So you think you're ready? So I'm gonna grab a 5.5 millimeter size eye crochet hook and Caron 1 pound yarn. Because I'm doing 3 panels, there will be 3 separate balls. So I've got a light gray, 2 light grays, and 1 dark gray for the center. So let's test our work and see if we know what we're doing. So if you'd like to do the pattern as written, it's 146 for your chain. In my case it is 62. So you're gonna use the main color that you would like to do for the first round of your border. So this is gonna be the one. It's also the color of the outside panel, which is panel B in my case. So I want to chain a total of 62 for that in order to keep balance. So just chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and go to the number that you decided that works for you. So now I have my starting chain. There's a total of 62 chains here. So it was 61, and then I had to add 1 if you remember. So in the first pass here, this is the setup row, second chain from the hook. Go in the back hump only of the chain. I want you to single crochet all the way across your chain using the same color. So don't change your colors out. It's easier to change your colors out when you have an established row already. I've seen some tutorials where they have you change the color while you're in the chain. It is so much harder folks. So this is what I would do, and that's why I'm trying to get you to do the same color as the border so that you can avoid all the headaches trying to get your first row complete. So go all the way across, single crochet in the back hump of the chain. I'll see you at the end of this row. So I'm coming to the end of the chain, and I'm just continuing to single crochet in each. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this, and then I'm gonna grab my sheet again, and I wanna just demonstrate to you what counts that we're looking for because we're going to start switching out our colors with just adding in the new yarn balls as we go across. So once you're into the last one, just turn your work, and let's pull up our diagram once again. So back to the worksheet, we know how many stitches there are per each of these panels that we're doing, and this is when we're gonna start changing colors. So panel B that we're starting with, we're gonna keep the same color that is in play right now, and we're gonna do 19 stitches. So the chain 3 that we're going to start with counts as one of the 19, and then we have to do the 18, and on the top of the 18th we have to then add in the next color here for panel A for 23 stitches, and then we switch it out again for the final for the 19. So if you're doing it much wider, you just have to keep doing that and adding in your balls of yarn. Let's take a look at the diagrams next. So why this works together is that the foundation row that we're about to start here that we're gonna go across matches each other. So you'll notice that they will match as they go across. That's why this is completely possible. There are cable afghans where each one of the cables will not match if you were doing it like this. So we're very fortunate in this case that we can. So what we have to just do is that we're going to establish each one. So this would be color 1, it'd be color 2, and then color 3, color 4, and etc. So each one of these panels is represented by a ball of yarn. So the first yarn that we're going to start with is the one that's already in play, and we're gonna do our first 19 of this color and then add in our second color and so on. So let's try it now. Okay, so let's begin. I know there's a lot of chatting in this. I really want you to be successful, and I'm scared that I'm gonna leave something behind. So we're gonna chain up 3 to begin. So that's 1 of 19. So you're gonna immediately jump to the next one, and you're going to double crochet a total of 19 of these in a row. So that's got 1 and 2, and what I want you to do is do 19 for me. Meet me back here in just a moment and I will show you how to change out the yarn so that it will align for the next panel that you're going to be making. My first 19 stitches are in. So here's my situation. The 19th one cannot be finished with this color. We have to stop it one pull through less. So all we're just gonna do, let's redo the 19th one again. And what you want to do is when you double crochet and you pull through 2, the final 2 should be the new color. I'm recommending to you, do not tie a slip knot onto this. Just simply loop it around and finish that stitch. This stitch or this loop right here is the next roof of the next stitch. So this is why you have to change it so that when you do it with this it will work out. Here's the trick, my friends. This strand that you just finished using, pull in front of the project. You need to pull it in front so that it's ready for you when you come back across when you turn this project around. If you leave it in the back you're gonna regret it. So make sure that always comes forward when you're switching out your yarns. Now this is panel A that we're going to do, and there's 23 of these double crochets. So just lay down the straggler on top of the row and now do 23 of these, and on the end of the 23rd one we want to switch it and we're got this new color again, but we're gonna have a separate ball of yarn in order to do that. So let's do 23 of these, locking in that strand right up underneath the stitch work as long as you can go, and that'll keep it from falling out on you. So 23 of these in a row, and I will see you there at the end of that, and we'll switch our yarn again to another ball of yarn which happens to be the same color as the first one. So I've now come across, I'm on my 22nd one, and now let's do the 23rd, but remember you cannot finish that stitch. You can almost get there. Leave this in front and grab the next color. In this case it's the same color as the original, and create a loop. Okay, and then just pull it through to finish, and then the final 19 stitches that you have will each be a double crochet with this last color of yarn, and make sure that you go right up over top of the straggler. Leave this other color just directly right here, and we'll come back and get that later as we pass back across. So the final 19 will be this last ball of yarn, and please go all the way across. Now if you're going through a bigger afghan, every time you have to switch your colors you're gonna do the same thing. So I'm just gonna be ending it with 3 panels only, but you can decide what works for you on how many that you want to go. So please do the same concept all the way across. So eventually you'll get to the other side. The final panel here, this is panel B, has only 19 stitches in a row, and then eventually you'll run out. Okay, so there is 19 there. So when I look at it and zoom out, you can see that we have our panel done now, getting ourselves established. So we have color 1 and color 2, color 3, and if you had a bigger afghan there will be 4, 5, 6, and 7 if you wish. So what we're just gonna do is that you're just gonna simply turn your work, and now we're just going to repeat what we know, then going all the way across. Get rid of any of these stragglers that we have, and make sure they're nice and tucked in, and then just cut them, and then we'll get started for the next row. So back to the diagram again. So panel B, which is right here. So we're now going to start this fancy footwork as we're gonna go. So we're gonna be working in the front post, treble front post for 6 in a row. So with the first 2 are double crochets. So if this is an edge, then what's gonna happen is that we're gonna chain 3 counts as 1 and then double crochet the next, and then there will be 6 in a row. And then what we have is that the next 3 are just double crochet, and then 6 front post trebles in a row, and then the next 2 are doubles. We then just jump over, let's match it over here, and the first one is gonna be a double crochet, and then a front post treble, a double, a front post treble, and then we're gonna start all of the cluster work and work our way across doing this. I would strongly recommend you download these things. It's just a lot easier, but what we're gonna do is get you started today anyway. So panel B is what we're starting with. So you're gonna do the same thing as you hit panel B's. If they're the same colors it's just kind of easier to tell too in your panel work, but that's up to you. So you're gonna chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, and you're gonna double crochet in the next one. So the next 6 in a row are each a front post treble. So the next 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this 6 here represents the first part of the cable in that particular panel. So you're gonna just wrap the hook twice and come into the side, and you're doing a front post treble, and you're gonna do 6 of those in a row as I said. Once you have your 6 done, I can see that there's 6 done, the next 3 in a row will each be a double crochet, and then we're gonna do that same thing again. So 1, 2 and 3. So the next 6 in a row are each going to be a front post treble. If you're not sure which one to grab, this or this, just look at this one here, see which one it's grabbing, and these 3 are empty, so you're grabbing this one right here. So we're just gonna do another 6 in a row front post treble. So we're getting our cabling established on this particular panel, and we'll be doing that every time we hit this panel work across. The nice thing about it is that because you are working across on several panels at the same time, it's easy to remember what you're doing once you start hitting them again and again and again. Okay, so I have my 6 in a row. So there are only 2 stitches left. So what we have to do is that we have to pay attention to that. So the last 2 will be a double crochet, but the second crochet has to change color to the first to this color that we have here. So we're gonna start it, but we cannot finish that double crochet. Leave it in the front. If you don't leave it in the front, you'll regret it. I know you will. I'm telling you will. And you're going to finish it with that stitch coming up. So just pull it nice and snug. So we're now going to begin then doing the establishing this panel. This is panel A. So let me just take a quick break and I'll be right back. So the first double crochet in is going to be a double crochet. So the first one in is a double, and now the next one is a treble. So front post treble. So we're gonna establish up our ridges that appear in this entire panel. The next one is a double, and then the next one after that is a treble, and then finally the next one after that is a double once again. So we're going to be establishing ourselves going in the formation of like this with your particular work. So the next one is a cluster around the front post. So you wrap the hook twice, and then going into the front post, and then pull through 2 and 2 and hold it onto the hook. Do that again. Okay, and then do it one more time. So you don't ever finish this until all 3 are done like that. So there will be a total of 4 loops on the hook. Wrap and pull through all 4. So the very next 11 double crochets, and that's on the diagram if you're wondering how many it is. So there's gonna be 11 double crochets in a row. So let's count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then we're going to do a cluster again. So wrapping the hook twice, coming into the next one, and just wrap and pull through and 2, but don't finish it, and keep on doing that. So if you've done the first video, you already know what you're doing. So you're thinking to yourself, well, that's gonna be a lot of counting for this whole thing. I can guarantee it's not gonna be. And the reason for it is that we're just establishing where all of the texture is in play, and once you see where it is, then it's a lot easier than going into the future. So pull through all of them, and now we're heading to the end of this particular panel. So the next one is a double crochet. The next one is a front post treble. The next one is a double crochet, and the next one is a front post treble, and there should only be 1 stitch left, which is right there. So it's the same color. See, it's easy to tell. You're gonna you're gonna double crochet, but you're not gonna finish it all the way. You're going to leave that one in front, and then grab that other color that is existing, and you're just gonna pull it up and finish that stitch. Make sure everything stays nice and tight when you go to do that. And then what you're going to do then is start again with panel B again, establishing your 6 in a row. Let me take a quick break. I'll be right back. So I just had to untwist my work. So when the yarn strands get twisted, you just got to turn around the project and everything should pretty much untwist. So we're back on panel B again. So the first 2 in a row are double crochet. Make sure the straggler or the yarn for the last color is in front. You'll regret it if you don't, because you'll have to frog in to get it back in the right position. So the first two are double crocheted, and then the next 6 in a row are front post treble. So we're establishing our cabling again. So all I'm just going to do is finish this particular panel here, but again, if you want to continue to go across further, which makes sense in your case, you just continue to do what you know for the establishing the next color that we had done earlier. So there's going to be 6 in a row that are front post trebles. That'll get your cabling started, and then the next 3 are double crochet. Okay, the next 6 are trebles once again, front post trebles. And then once you get your 6 in there, you only have 2 stitches left. You're at the very end, so you're just gonna put in a double crochet in the second last one, and then double crochet in the turning chain. Never go into a space, go right into a turning chain, and therefore it'll look finished. And then you have now established yourself going all the way across. If you want to add in more of these panels, you just continue to go along. The next one will be this all over again. You can just reverse the video and get that started all over again. So let's turn to work, and let's begin to move up into the second row. So let's move up to a second row of each one of these. So the first panel, panel B, is a repeating of 4 rows. So this, we just completed 1 of 4, and the other one, panel A, is a repeating of rows 1 through 12. So this is 1 of 12, and it works out to be awesome, so don't worry about it. So you're gonna chain up 3 counts as your double crochet, and you're gonna double crochet in the first one, which is the next one coming. So these are our front post trebles, but they're on the other side, so we want to maintain that. So in this case we want to keep those as back post trebles at this point. So wrap the hook coming from the back side, okay, and go into the post and keep it to the back. So those 6 will each be a back post treble. So that's not hard, right? Now that you see where the stitches are, you don't really have to count them too much. You just have to look for where the work is. You might want to count once in a while, but now that you trust yourself, hopefully you do, you can get this done pretty easily. Okay, so I can see I have 1 more treble left, so there's my 6, and then we are going to then the next 3 in a row. See how they're not trebles? They're each a double crochet, and then you're gonna repeat what you just did with doing back post trebles again. This is row number 2, so just starting the next 6, keep it in the back. So technically you're looking at the back side or the wrong side of the project right now as you're crocheting. So use the ridges of the indentations to see where you are. It can be confusing if you're not looking for telltale signs of where you should be sticking your hook. Okay, so now you see that you got 2 stitches left over. So the last 2 are double crochet, but the second one of the 2 we have to switch to that first to that the color that's here, and because you left it on the front, it should be coming from the back side at this point. So just pulling it through to finish, and then let this other color just stay in the front now, and now we're going to maintain this pattern. So this pattern here is the cluster work, and all we just need to do is that it's doing this shape first, and then it's gonna expand out. So what we have to do is that the outside ridges always stay in the same spot. So let's just do those first. So the first one is a regular double crochet. Make sure you pull the stitches nice and tight, because you don't want to sew these together later, because you're not gonna have to, but you want to keep it so that the joins are nice and even. And so the first one is a double crochet, and then the next one is a back post treble, and this will keep those ridges that are growing up on that particular panel on the other side. The next one is a double crochet, and the next one is a back post treble. See, these are always consistent, so it's easy to maintain where those are. Now the cluster is that we're gonna go into the next one, and it's a double crochet, and then the cluster is the one after that. We're gonna double crochet in there, and therefore you're gonna add the new cluster to this one. So do you see that this one is the first double crochet after this monstrosity right here? So because you're looking at the back side, you want to make this as the cluster for the back post. So wrapping it twice, coming into the back side of that one and keeping it to the back, and you want to do a cluster. So you don't want to finish those stitches, and you want to put a total of 3 of those into that same post. See, you can tell why they make these as panel work. It's not as complicated to explain. So now pull through all 4, and now you can continue. So the pattern says that, or my diagram says that the next 9 are each a double crochet. But listen, I'm not counting. You can count, but what I want you to do is that I want you to see where you visually need to go, and you can tell that without having to do a lot of counting. So this is one of the reasons why I decided to try this concept without having to do the sew version, because you can see where you need to go without a lot of counting. So you see, here's the cluster that you have here. So what we have to do is that we have to think about the one before it, okay, before you hit it, because it's going in this formation, so it's leaning up. Okay, so you're gonna wrap the hook and make that one just before that cluster as the new cluster. And remember, it's a back post treble cluster in this case, because we're looking at the back side of the project, or the wrong side of the project. It's WS, wrong side. Now I did see on the last video some people are complaining about having to do trebles. Do they have to do trebles? There has to be a bigger stitch than the other one. So if you have, these have to be a half double if you don't want to do trebles. The mathematics on working out the starting chain will change though. So here's the next cluster. So you're just gonna simply just double crochet into that one and into the next one, and you're looking for when you see the next back post treble, which is the next one. So you're looking for the signs of what's already there to maintain what's there. The next one must be a double, and the next one must be a back post treble, and there's only one stitch left over, and so you're going to not finish it, let the strand fall out to the front, and then grab the new strand that's sitting there waiting for you and pull through and keep things nice and tight, and then begin the final panel. So the final panel is already what you know. So you start off with the double crochet in the first 2, and then the next 6 are back post trebles, the next 3 are double crochet, the next 6 are back post trebles, and the final 2 are double crochets. So I'm gonna leave that in your capable hands, and I'll see you at the end of this row. As we now progress into row number 3, we're gonna start off with your panel B on the outside, and we're gonna do a crisscross that is gonna be part of the braiding, and then there is a bobble right in the middle. So the middle one of the 3 is gonna be a bobble, and then we're gonna crisscross and etc. Now we're gonna do that across. The other one here, if you haven't already figured out, is that this is going in, and then eventually on row number 7 it's going to hit, and it's just gonna be one by itself, and then it's gonna grow back out, and that will take you into row number 12. So 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 will then grow back out, and then the pattern then repeats. So as I mentioned before, is that the first one, panel B here that we're running into, repeats every 4. This one repeats every 12. If you can keep an eye on these clusters on where they're positioning, you don't have to keep a count. You just have to know that there's one when you're coming across, it's one after the existing one, and when you come across it's one before, and then eventually you'll hit to the middle one, and then it will grow out, and then you're just looking for the one before and one after in order to keep it going. So let's begin row number 3. We're going to chain up 3 counts as a double crochet. The first one, which is the next one, is a double crochet, and then we're gonna start doing a crisscross. So the crisscrossing is gonna have a crisscross. We're gonna have a bobble in between the crisscrosses that we're doing, and etc. So we have 6 that are in a row. So you're gonna come to the 4th one of the 6, and you're gonna wrap the hook twice and come in from the front side. So a front post treble into the next 6. So let it cross over like that. Now when you do the other ones that we have just skipped, you can either go in from behind and grab it, or you can go from the front. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. My case, I always think it's the front that's easiest, so I'm going to come into the first one of the three that's the furthest one away, and you're going to do a front post treble, and that's gonna cause the stitches to overlap. So do those three that you've skipped already in a row. Okay, so you can see that it's just crossed over. So the next three are one is the first one is a double crochet, and the next one is a bobble. So the next one has 5 double crochets into the same one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now this is an old pattern. I described this one as actually technically a popcorn, but they call it a bobble. So there's 5 in there. You're gonna go to the first one of the grouping of 5, grab the loop and pull it through, and that'll make that pop towards you. And then the final one of that one in between is just a double crochet. So a double crochet, bobble, double crochet. So now you're gonna crisscross again the next set. So just skip in the first 3, go into the 4th, and do a front post treble. And now go and get the ones that you just skipped. So wrap in the hook, start from the furthest one, okay. Once you get that done, you see that there's 2 left, so they're each a double crochet, but of course the second one of the 2 you're not gonna finish. You're just gonna get almost there, leave it in front, and then you're going to jump to the next panel. So pull things nice and tight and pull through, and let's get ready. So the first one is a double crochet. You can, because you're looking at the good side of the project or the right side, you can see these are jumping towards you, so you wanna keep those as a front post treble to keep that ridge working its way up. The next one is a double, and the next one is a treble. So you can see on this particular one is that these clusters are now starting to go in. So the next cluster will be in the next one just after it, and the one right before it on the other side. So you don't really need to count so much, you just have to look and see where they're gonna go. It's up to you. If you wanna count, that's your business. So there's gonna be 1, 2, and 3 stitches if you want to count. See the next stitch that's ready doesn't have a cluster in it. That's where we're gonna put the cluster in now. Because we're looking at the good side of the project, you want to keep the cluster to the front side. So it's gonna be a front post treble cluster. Pull through all 4, and then starting in the next one. So you can count if you would like to. I don't see why you should have to though. And you're just gonna look for the double crochet that's right before the cluster in the row below. And I'll show you that in just a moment. So here we go. See, here's the cluster. So this one here is where you're gonna put the new cluster. So it's 1 just before it. You see what I'm saying about counting? It was only really to get yourself started, is that you have to count in order to get your right panel width, and that's it. So here's the next cluster. So because you're looking at the good side, you want to keep it on the front side. So after this part in the tutorial, what I'm gonna be doing is starting to speed through the concept, because really honestly you can kinda see how things are gonna work out. You've almost got the repeat pattern done of the first one, and it's really gonna work out really quickly for you. So you're just gonna continue to go across what you already know. After you got your clusters, you're just double crocheting, and so you're looking for where the next ridge is up here, which happens to be the next one. So you wanna keep that ridge going. So a front post treble, and then a double, a front post treble again, and the very final one of this color is a double crochet, but don't finish it, let it fall in front, and then grab the next one from behind and pull it, keep things nice and tight, and then start this section here. So the next section again is that the first 2 are double crochets, and then you're going to crisscross the next 6. Then The middle one of the grouping of 3 is gonna be a bobble, so it'll be a double, double, and then crisscross, and then the final 2 are a double crochet. So please do that now. I'll see you at the end of this row. This is row number 3. So now that I just finished up row number 3, we're gonna go for row number 4. So row number 4, we're just gonna turn our work and continue along. So we're going to begin, and we're on panel B. So in this particular case we want to just start up chain 3 to begin. I'm gonna start speeding through this concept now because I really think you should be able to get it by now. So you're gonna double crochet in the first one. So this is the final repeat of this particular panel. This is row number 4. So the next 4 in a row, or next 6 in a row, are each a back post treble. And so what this is doing, it's reorganizing that crisscross you just did. If you cannot see the work, just flip it towards you so you can see the trebles that are existing in there so that you can get them. You can pull them out if you have to, like in the sense of just manipulating with your fingers. And so the next 3 in a row are each a treble, a front post, or sorry, a back post treble. And why is it a back post? Because you want that maintaining on the other side, so you can clearly see what is the good side of the project and what is the bad side when you're working through it. So the next 3 in a row, okay, there's a double, a bobble, and a double. So those are each going to be a double crochet this time. So the bobbles only ever exist when you're doing a crisscross row. Okay, do you see it? So we're gonna reorganize these ones here. So these are each a back post treble. Now this is an intermediate level pattern. What I'm showing you here is really very much like Afghan work, where you are manipulating multiple balls at the same time in order to prevent yourself from having to change yarns all the time. And it works out really quite nicely when you're doing this kind of concept. Okay, so you have 2 left. You can see that there's 2, and then we just switch out on the second one. Let it fall forward, and then grab the next one and pull it up. So you can't really see the stitch too well on the back side, but you can always flip it and look. So you're going on the inward, so you're looking for where these clusters are. So here's a cluster, here's a cluster. So when we apply our back post treble clusters, they're gonna be in the one just after it because they're getting more and more narrow like this, but eventually it'll come back out. So you have to just maintain the concept as you know it. So the first one is a double crochet, and the next one you can see from this point of view that it is one of the ridges, so you want to keep that as a ridge, so it's a back post treble. And the next one is a double. Next one is a back post treble. And then you want to keep doubling until you get double crocheting until you get after the existing cluster that's there. Again, you can count your stitches if you prefer. I don't think you need to. So here it is here. It's the one after, and you're gonna maintain that as a back post treble cluster. Oops, you don't want to finish it. You want to finish it when they're all ready to be pulled through at the same time. One comment I did see is that it's easier if you kind of pull through all of them, but except for the last one. You can do that, but I don't think that's considered a treble. I think that's considered a puff stitch. Again, if you decide to do anything different, just always be consistent, and then therefore it'll work out for you. So just because you change a stitch like that doesn't mean you're creating a new pattern. You're just doing an adaptation to something that already exists. So it's just a way of, you're changing it for what makes sense for you. So the next one here is just before the cluster, so we want to keep that one now as the new back post treble cluster, and etc. So what I would like you to do is that I think I can leave you at this particular point. I know some of you are kind of scared. The border is exactly the same as the original one that we have, and there's a total of 4 of those. So you're just gonna go back and forth, and in this particular panel here, let me just turn it around so you can see it. In this one here there is there's a total of 12 rows. This one here there's only 4, so we've just done the 4. Now we're gonna go back to 1 through 4 again, and then you just continue in this one as you know it and continue to go up. Now if you're not sure of this one here, the first video has this one complete panel done just to be able to show you. We also have the diagrams available to you so that you can see that work as well, and it's really it's really an easy pattern when you really break it down into steps. When it comes to do the border, when you're finished this, all you just need to do is just go around equally, one single crochet around, choose the color that you decided to do at the outside or the very starting of your color to do your first border round. Then the second one you're gonna chain 3, and in the corners there's gonna be 3 double crochet, and then you're gonna put 2 double crochets and then a bobble that you have, and then 5 and then a bobble, and then 5 and a bobble, and so then you'll do your 3 double crochets in the corner. The next row around you're going to just slip stitch, and it's 1 single crochet going around in each, and then finally the last round is a reverse single crochet. It's also called the crab stitch, and you're gonna come back in the other direction. So what I'm going to do with you off camera here is that I am going to work on this, and I want to actually get rows 1 through 12 done, and that's what I'm going to do, and I will see you again next time at the end of this. So here's what it looks like. You're going to then just complete it as the pattern is written. So essentially every panel is just been put in here. So essentially there is no sewing involved. You're just carrying over the yarn. It looks great on either side, and it's awesome. It totally belongs together. Once you're ready for that, you can just do your border as instructed. It's really quite a simple one, and because you started off with the gray here, then you'll want to do your first one with that same color just to keep it looking even, and then it's really quite awesome. So hopefully this made sense. I know it was a very long-winded tutorial. I'm hoping that at least a few of you can get the concept.